Namaste. Today we will read a shloka from 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Chaturvidha bhajante mam janaah sukritino arjuna arte arto jitnyasurartharthi jnani cha bharatarshabha. 4 kinds of virtuous people worship me. But there are 4 kinds of devotees, Krishna says. Who are they? First one is Artha. Second one is Jitnyasu. Third one is Artharthi. Fourth one is Jnani. So the afflicted, the inquiring one, the one yearning for some specific gain like wealth, and the knower. O great amongst the Bharatas. So Krishna says there are 4 types of devotees. And first one is Artha. Artha means a person who is suffering from some kind of problems in his life. It can be family problems, financial problems, social issues, or health problems, relationships, any kind, all kinds of problems. They are all included in this category. Artha. So people start to worship God when they have some problems and they want to have a solution for that. Some people have so many challenges in front of them, and they need some support and blessings, and they start to worship God. So all of these people are included in this first category, Arthaha. In this world, I think probably around 70% of the devotees are included in this category, some worshipping God for problem solutions. So in this category, they worship God probably until they find a solution for their problems. Once the suffering start to become less and less, when they have less and less problems, the intensity of the devotion start to diminish. So just for the purpose of their own just to escape from their problems, or that is the only reason they worship God. But in this category itself, there are two types of people. One is people who worship God just until they solve their problems. Or second type is people who worship God even when the suffering become lesser and lesser. So 2 types of people are included in this category, because the second type of people who continues to worship God, they start to move to the next level, which is Jitnyasu. Yes, of course, many people start from this point, Artha, but they graduate from this category to the next level, which is Jitnyasu. Jitnyasu means they want to know if there is any lasting happiness, or they want to know what is offered when we know God, or when we realize God, and they start to wish for that happiness. It's called mumukshu, moksharthi, which means who wish for liberation. So they graduate from the first level to the second level. Many of the people from first category, which is artha, suffering people, that is the first one. Second one is jitnyasu. Jitnyasu means who wants to know the truth. People who start to grow up. Yes, they might have started from the first category, level of artha, and they graduate to next level, jitnyasu. Jitnyasu means people who wants to know the truth, who wants to know God, or who wants to realize their own self. But at this level, they're not 100% sure what is offered, or they don't have a theoretical understanding about the truth. They're just curious. So many people start on this second level, on this path, and they just lose interest and forget about the path. There are so many people like that. So some people, they are so determined that they want to know the truth, and they give so much importance to that goal. So the goal is set for. So in this category itself, you can see two types of people. One is, they have this curiosity, but after a while, they lose interest, or they don't have that commitment to set a goal and follow it. Second category is people who are determined and nothing can shake their faith. They have unshakable faith. These people will win. They are going to win. That's what Krishna says, Shraddhavan labhate sarvam. It means that one-pointedness, that attention and determination, that I really want this, that kind of attitude, they will stay on the path and they will realize their truth. Third category is artharthi. Yes, you'll see a lot of people who would come in this category. Artharthi. Artharthi means people who have financial troubles. So they just want to find solution for this specific problem, financial problem. So artham means wealth. Arthi means who is wishing, who wants wealth. So artharthi means people who really want to have financial freedom, financial gains. So what do? They would worship God to get some money and to move, to get out of some financial problems they have in their life. As soon as the problem is solved, the attention would go back to the old things. People, situations, and objects, they start to run behind them and forget about the path and they get lost. And until the next financial problem comes, they would just run around the objects and people and just chase Maya. But as soon as the second problem arrives, the financial problem arrives, they would come back to the path, run back to the path and say, God, please help me. I have this financial problem. Please help me to get through. So that this is the category of artharthi. Artharthi, people who wants more money. So in this category, some people start from this point, but they move to the third one, the second one that we just discussed, jitnyasu, the people who are curious about finding truth and finding God. And once they have this theoretical understanding, they will move to the next level. So many people start from many of these categories. We don't always start from one point to another because we are all in different levels. So some people start from artha, some problems, really huge problems in their life, and they move to jitnyasu, and they are done with this chasing after Maya, and they move to this theoretical. They start to learn, and they listen to spiritual knowledge. They read scriptures, and they put all 100% effort towards this goal of getting to know the truth of their own true self. So these some people start from artharthi, from financial problems, to jitnyasu. Jitnyasu means people who wants to know the truth, or people who wish for liberation. They say, enough is enough. I don't want to chase this Maya anymore. I want to know the truth, and I want to get out of this vicious cycle of birth and death. So fourth one is jnani. Fourth category is jnani. Jnani means a person who have come to this realization that this, at least they have this theoretical understanding that God is everywhere. Whatever you see, hear, smell, touch, all these sensual experiences, God, the formless awareness, is appearing as your experiences, as the scene that you're seeing. So people who have this theoretical understanding, but they might be lacking experiential understanding, the practical understanding, but still they come to this, they would come under this category of jnani because they do have this theoretical understanding. So listening to spiritual knowledge will bring you to this, at least this level, jnani, level of jnani. Another thing to say about jnani would be, their first priority in their life would be to know the truth, to know God. So they give less priority for everything else. It doesn't mean they will not do their duties as a family man. No, it doesn't mean that. They would perform all their duties. At the same time, inside, their goal is to realize the truth, and they would do anything to achieve this goal. And these people, jnani, a person who has this theoretical understanding that God is everywhere and God is appearing, for God, the formless awareness, is appearing as everything that we experience in this world. So when they have this level of understanding, they experience the presence of God. They do not forget who God is. whatever experiences they experience in their daily life, in the back of the mind, this understanding would be there, and they would perform their duties from this understanding most of the time. I'm not saying they are all 100% perfect or anything like that. No, there is nobody perfect in this world in when it comes to performing duties, because when we talk about dharma and adharma, or good or bad, and there is no specific rules like that. Some activities that we do, we might consider it as sacred. um, let's For example, let's say peacock feather. In India, it's considered as so sacred, and because Krishna wears, we see pictures that Krishna wearing a peacock feather um, in his hair, and at some places it's considered as evil or not good. So it depends upon our conditioning, which is good and which is bad. But still, there would be some level of understanding about what to do in terms of of violence and non-violence, practicing non-violence. We do have a specific level of understanding when it comes to that. Other than that, categorizing good and bad and dharma and adharma, there is no specific rules for that. But a jnani who has come to this understanding that it's God appearing as everything in this world, including his own body. So he sees everyone as a part of him. How can he hurt someone who is part of his own self? So he would reach to this point that he would not do and could not do anything to harm others, or with that intention. So that is the level of jnani that we are talking about. So nature beams with variety. By the law of variety, all people will never be bad or ignoble. While some love to indulge in evil ways and wickedness, others devoutly remain good and noble. With unswerving resolve, their goal is set. They start to move towards their goal by following a spiritual path, or reading scriptures, or any way that they can choose. Whatever is available, they would start to make use of it instead of making excuses. Because we are so good, our mind is so good at making excuses when it comes to spiritual path. It will find all kinds of reasons not to listen to spiritual knowledge or not to practice spiritual knowledge. So we must be able to realize these tricks that come from the mind. So others devoutly remain good and noble with unswerving resolve. The noble fall into 4 categories, says Krishna. Some have a plight of torment on one account or another, some kind of problems they are facing. Some others will be led by a strong note of curiosity. Curiosity means it's not just lukewarm spirituality, or it's not that simple. They have this, there is an intensity in that curiosity. So what is faith? So they might start to feel like this. What is faith? Where does it lead to? Their worship will be led by thoughts and inquiry of this kind. They might be still swinging from positivity, between positivity and negativity, because they're still debating with whether to follow or not. They're not 100% sure yet. This category, okay. So the third category will be looking for some specific secular or divine outcome. But to achieve it somehow, they need support and blessings. And hence, they try to uh, get higher powers seeking their favor. The fourth category consists of those who know the supreme truth. They realize that God alone is. Nothing additional or different can be. Their worship consists in this knowledge, its unshrinking, blissful prevalence. So we must start to look within ourselves that which category are we going to fall into? Artha, a person with lots of problems and who wants to find solutions. Jitnyasu, a person with a curiosity to know God, or a person with a wish for liberation. Third category is Artharthi, a person who wants to earn lots of money and to go beyond financial problems. They start to worship God too. Fourth one is Jnani. Jnani has at least a conceptual understanding or theoretical understanding that God alone is here. So in these four categories, Lord Krishna says he loves the fourth category people because they love God more than anybody else. Why? We'll see. The next shloka goes like this. Tesham jnani nityayukta eka bhaktir vishishyate priyo hi jnanino atyarthamaham sacha mama priyaha. Of these four, the knower with his singular devotion is unbrokenly united with me. He verily excels. For the knower, I am extremely dear, and he too is extremely dear to me. He is my favorite. Lord Krishna says, in these four categories, the fourth one, Jnani, whose singular devotion, his goal is set and he has a theoretical understanding about me by following a spiritual path or reading scriptures and self-exploration. There are different ways to get there. And he says, once you have this understanding about me, you're my favorite because you took time to get here. You chose me. Jnani chooses God over everybody else. So he's the first priority. He doesn't want anything else more than God. That is the point that we need to grasp. Do you have that singular devotion without expecting anything? Yes, we can start as an artha. Artha means a person who has problems and who needs solution. But you have to graduate from that state, asking for something, always begging for something to God. Yes, we do have the right to ask for anything, but still, Swami Vivekananda, he had a lot of problems. Problems means financial problems in his life. Sometimes there wouldn't be enough food on the table for his family, and he would come to Sri Ramakrishna, his master. Sri Ramakrishna Deva would say, okay, come to the temple to pray for for a solution for this financial problem. And Swami Vivekananda would go to this temple in Dakshineshwar in India, and he would go there with an intention to pray for a financial solution, but he cannot do it because in his mind, the highest priority is realizing the truth. And he would go there, but still he would pray. The only prayer he would do is, please, God, please help me realize my true self. Please help me realize you, realize God. He cannot pray for financial gain or anything else because his priority is set, his goal is set. He cannot move from there. So and you can see how jnani, he was a jnani. He did have his theoretical understanding, and he had a master who could guide him. He would ask everybody around, do you know God? Have you seen God? Have you realized God? Can you please help me? He would walk around and ask people this question, this innocent question. And sometimes people would laugh at him. But when he was attending a college, a professor told him that there is this person who is a realized being and enlightened master. And Swami Vivekananda went to see Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, who became his master. And the first question he asked was, have you seen God? Can you help me? And Sri Ramakrishna Deva said, yes, I see God more than I can see you. And yes, I can help you. That is the level of jnani. And he experienced many kinds of spiritual experiences with Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So he realized the truth, and he started as a jitnyasu, and then he became jnani. And Lord Krishna says, jnani is my favorite because they choose me over everything else. You see, that is the level of commitment that God is expecting, that our true self is expecting from this body mind. You can say there's no expectation, but if you want to see the real result, yes, you will have to show this type of commitment, because so many challenges would come and test you out. Yes, but when you have this kind of resolution in you, commitment, strong commitment like this, like Swami Vivekananda, you cannot fail. There's 100% guarantee that yes, you will realize him. You will realize your true self. So Krishna says, of these four, the knower with his singular devotion is unbrokenly united with me. He knows I am everywhere. He knows I am within him. I am in everyone's heart. I am appearing as living thing and non-living objects and as everything. There is nothing else here. If there is only one thing, just imagine for a second, there's only one thing ever present, is everywhere. Where is the space for a second thing? So that one thing is appearing as everything. What is devotion? Its true nature. How does it grow? Where lies its fulfillment? All these questions, though very relevant to devotion and devotees, are seldom taken up for reflection. As a result, devotion remains constricted, and the fortune of fullness and abundance is denied to devotees. Hence, Krishna's analysis is invaluable. So, what is Krishna trying to do here? Krishna is helping us to set a goal. Many people worship God, but how many people have realized God and get the full benefit of this devotion? Very few, because they haven't set their goal yet. Having listed the 4 kinds of devotees, he describes the knower of truth as having the best place among them. A knower does not indulge in formal worship with flowers, garlands, and milk and things like that. Though his mind and intelligence, he is well connected to his object of worship. A knower might not go to a church. He can, but he might not. A knower that might not go to a temple or mosque or a worship place, because for him it's a 24/7 job, not a weekend job. No, he's so indulged in this self-exploration or contemplation about God, and he's doing it inside. It's an inside, it's an inner growth, and he is applying this knowledge in his daily life, always. So he does not need to go to a specific place, because he sees God everywhere, not in a specific building or of a temple, church, or mosque. No, he's there too, but he's everywhere. So that a jnani sees God not just in a specific worship place, everywhere, as everything. That is why Krishna says he's my favorite, because he doesn't put me in a specific place of worship and just come there once a week or once in 2 weeks. There's nothing wrong with that. We can all start from there, but we have to graduate from there. We must be able to see him everywhere, in our kitchen, in our house, wherever we are. We must be able to see him. What do I mean by seeing him? Remembering that the formless awareness is appearing as this tree. Formless awareness is appearing as the wall, appliances, light, as everything, including this body, as this body. So he is the only one here. So this is called Advaita, non-dual understanding of God. Because if you start to believe there are lots of gods out there, you will get nowhere. That's not true. It cannot be true, because the definition of God is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. He is everywhere. Then how can there be another God? A God, when I say God, formless awareness, is not, he doesn't belong to any specific religion, but he is appearing as everything, as religion and worshipping and everything. So when you get to this level of understanding, you come to Advaita, non-dual understanding of God, and there you can see, you can experience peace of mind, and everlasting happiness. God alone is everyone as well as everything alike, is God everywhere. He's everywhere, right? Upanishads say God is formless awareness, that Brahman is in front of you, back, on the sides, and uh, everywhere. Brahma Purataha. And why do the Upanishads say like this? It can just say it's everywhere. No, it specifically says it's on your left, it's on your right, it's on over here, and it's beneath you, and it's so that mind does not get a chance to escape from this knowledge. That's why it is stressing, out of compassion. And thus the knower gains eka bhakti, and this is so important. Eka bhakti, that one pointedness in devotion, and excels in his singular devotion. Such a one is dear to Krishna. When I say Krishna, I mean formless awareness. Formless awareness. Formless awareness is speaking through Krishna's mouth. He spoke through Jesus's mouth, and all prophets, and such a one is dear to Krishna, and Krishna is equally dear to him. That is true love, unconditional love. Dearness graces him always, filling him to the full, even overflowing. When you achieve that unconditional love, you completely stop looking for love and expectations from others, from your loved ones. It doesn't mean you don't love your family members or your friends or your spouse. You do have love for everybody, but there is no specialness about it. So you love everybody with an understanding that they're all part of you. You, the formless awareness. So think about these points that we discussed. 4 categories of devotees, and we must do everything in our power to get to that 4th level of understanding, which is the 4th category, jnani, who are dear to God. I hope this helps, and thank you.